Okay, these are all books, different. This is from the Peshitta, it's in Spanish. This is the Catholic Bible with a bunch of extra books in it. This is the KJV, Buddhist scriptures, the Way of Zen. I don't have the Tao Te Ching on me. But contradictions. I wanted to get this out of the way because somebody had brought it up. There's a book of outright lies. Now, the Bible was written by many authors. The only time we know that one author wrote a bunch of books is Paul, and there's only 7 letters that are attributed to him by scholars. The pastorals aren't. 2nd Thessalonians, Ephesians, and Colossians are not. But as something like this is a theodicy of written by 4 different authors of these ancient tales that were slammed together. That's why we have 2 creation narratives in the first 2 chapters, and actually 5 creation narratives. And then we have a court chronicle from Judges to 2nd Kings, and then we have the writing prophets, and then we have the bios in the New Testament, and then we have the minor prophets, and then we have the bios in the New Testament, and then we have these letters and these apocalyptic writings from the early Roman period. This is an out-and-out forgery, con, lie, because where's the Bible? Talks about places that existed and is very accurate when it's describing things like what grew where, and like the animals that they'd encounter and the cities that they'd encounter. Again, not counting any of the miracles, just as a historical text, right? And as a court chronicle. And even the New Testament is extremely reliable when it matches up with archaeology. This has things that this book is supposedly from the 4th century AD, and yet it contains horses, elephants, sheep, wheat, barley. None of these things existed in pre-Columbian America. Horses. It is so anachronistic. It is a 19th century forgery through and through. So people can talk about contradictions and stuff like that, with maybe the Four Noble Truths, or let's say maybe argue about the dating on this, or like a theological point. Yet this is an out-and-out con job that was made out of whole cloth. Whereas something like this, the writer of Matthew is not the one who wrote Mark, who's not the one that wrote Luke, who didn't write John, who didn't write the Apostles, and not even the Pauline epistles were written by the same person. And certainly it's not like Isaiah wrote Jeremiah and Jeremiah wrote Ezekiel. And the court chronicles were written by multiple people over a long period of time, being the propaganda for the southern tribe of Judah. But this is 100% con job made out of whole cloth. It's even mocking the Bible that it claims to back up, because it supports it condemns monotheism. It talks about another gospel of Jesus Christ, which is outright forbidden in the New Testament, and it has so much anachronistic stuff like horses, barley, sheep, goats, cattle. I mean, it's just ludicrous. And these huge battles that apparently took place at Hill Cumorah, every battle that took place in the Bible or in antiquity, we can find. We can't find a single battle here, even though there's supposedly millions of people with chariots and horses, and they had a complex writing system, and yet none of that was retained. There was no phonetic writing system in the Americas when Columbus hit here. No horses had ever been here. Never were there any chariots or swords. It's an out-and-out lie. So it's not even comparable to, no matter what you think of the Bible or Catholicism or the Buddhist scriptures or hey, even the Quran, even though the Quran has extremely anachronistic stuff in it and actually probably took place around Palestine, it wasn't written by just one guy out of whole cloth to con people. It was cobbled together after an empire was established. And I'll say the same thing about the Tao Te Ching. I mean, the Tao Te Ching, again, is like a real holy book. So is the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. But this, absolutely not. This is a con job.